Hello and welcome to the Armoured Car Regiment channel. Today we'll be covering the actions of the squadron from June the 27th until July the 5th. I hope you enjoy. So while C Squadron was over in Normandy for most of June without the rest of the regiment remained at Dorman's Park, Surrey under the command of Major Grieg. June the 27th, the regiment moved to the marshalling area on Wanstead Flats, London. June the 28th, two Liberty ships, the SS Sanpep and SS Ocean Vengeance, were assigned to the Inns of Court for their voyage over the Channel. Loading of the ships began in the early morning using the dock facilities and was completed by 1900 hours. Loaded aboard the two ships were 450 men and 120 vehicles from the Inns of Court and their supporting attachments, such as the Light Aids Detachment, Royal Signals and the Remy. Later that evening, the two ships moved down the Thames to Southend, where they would anchor and await the formation of the convoy of vessels that would be making the journey over to Normandy. June the 29th. Stuck aboard their ships, the troops spent the day gambling away their freshly acquired francs and basking in the sun. At 2000 hours, the convoy got underway for Normandy. June the 30th. The day was sunny and the waters were calm, as the convoy made its way across the Channel. By the time they had arrived and anchored off Juno Beach, it was too late to unload, and therefore a third night aboard was necessary. Nearby was HMS Rodney, and the thunderous noise of her guns brought a sharp reminder of the forthcoming battles. July the 1st. Unloading started early in the morning and continued all day. The regiment's vehicles had to be loaded onto LCTs by the onboard cranes of the Liberty ships and then ferried ashore. Once ashore they headed towards Rivieres, where half a C Squadron had been based since July the 9th. Unloading was a lengthy process and would take up most of July the 2nd and 3rd as well. During these days, time was taken by the rest of the regiment to liaison with the regiment headquarters and the remnants of C Squadron, acquainting themselves with what was going to be the beginning of a long experience with slit trenches, camouflage and compo 14-man rations. July the 3rd. By evening, the whole regiment and its equipment was all ashore. The two halves of C Squadron had been reunited, bringing the squadron back up to full strength, and all the crews were feverishly removing waterproofing materials from their vehicles and preparing for action. July the 4th. The experiences that C Squadron had from their mission on D-Day was shared with the rest of the regiment, the key points being that the Daimler armoured cars were too big of a target to act in close support and reconnaissance, and it was agreed that the burden of the reconnaissance would need to fall upon the Dingo scout cars. The regiment was reorganised, with each squadron consisting of 4 light sabre troops, 4 heavy sabre troops and a blitz support troop, and a squadron headquarters. For a full breakdown of the squadron organisation, please refer to my earlier video, Squadron Organisation, July the 4th, 1944 to July the 12th, 1944, Inns of Court Armoured Car Regiment, carded top right now. All of the regiment's AEC Mark III heavy armoured cars were removed from each squadron and combined together to make a Matador squadron under the command of Lieutenant Bottomley. For a full breakdown of the possible Matador Squadron organisation, please refer to my earlier video, Matador Squadron Organisation, July the 4th, 1944 to November 1944, Inns of Court Armoured Car Regiment, carded top right now. The rest of July the 4th and all of July the 5th was spent reorganising the regiment and allowing the troops to get themselves accustomed to the new formations. References are now on screen, and I hope you can join me on July the 7th. We'll be covering the next batch of the Regiment's War Diary. Until next time, cheerio.